No horse ever went through the strange spread-eagle contortions depicted by the artists of the 18th century. But now, motion picture film, exposed at 500 frames per second, can be combined with the calculating capacity of a computer. Using this combination, George Pratt has constructed a biomechanical model of a thoroughbred's action. The movements of various parts of the horse's anatomy are plotted and fed into a computer. From these measurements emerges an overall rating as to how economical or wasteful in energy is the animal's action, and therefore how good a racehorse it is likely to be.
What you look for in a good gait is the ability of a horse to extend himself. That means he's going to get the most forward motion off of each leg, one after the other. When a horse generally runs, more than one leg is on the ground at the same time. And that means that those two legs on the ground are duplicating their motion. An extreme example would be the pogo stick, where every leg is on the ground at the same time, and he goes through his step with all four legs and then leaps into the air, and then all four legs take the same step. That would be the most inefficient stride a horse could take. The most efficient would be the spokes of a wheel. Every leg down, one after the other, and then into the air, and then every leg. The horse, of course, does something in between that. The great horses have an ability to extend themselves, to get the maximum forward travel from each leg that they can get.
This is the thoroughbred. What were its origins from amongst the family of horses? For an answer, we go to the Agricultural Research Institute in Dublin and its director, Paddy Cunningham.
The thoroughbred has very interesting origins. It started in Britain sometime in the 1600s. At that time, the horses would have been quite heavy horses because, by and large, in the centuries before that, the horses that the nobility would have had were primarily to carry men in armor.
But warfare in the desert required light horses with speed and stamina. Arab stallions, often captured in the wars between Islam and Christendom, were carried back to England to impart their qualities to a new breed of racehorse. The crossing of local mares with these imported stallions began in the days of the Stuart kings. Charles II and Nell Gwyn already enjoyed racing on Newmarket Heath. The Byerley Turk, captured at the Siege of Buda. The Godolphin Arabian. And the Darley Arabian. By 1750, a new hybrid had emerged from stallions like these. A supreme example is Eclipse, an unsurpassable champion of his day. A witness said of him, "He blew like an otter and ran as wide as a barn door." 9 out of 10 thoroughbreds today carry his genes. And his hoof has been duly enshrined on a plate of solid gold at the Jockey Club in Newmarket.
And of course you come then to the end of the 1700s and it became necessary to put a certain order on the whole thing. So Mr. Weatherby decided he would set up a little register of horses for himself and his friends. And from that start you have then the foundation of the thoroughbred as we know it today.
In 1836, an escapade involving Lord Bentinck's champion Ellis pointed to the 20th century. Bentinck raced Ellis at Goodwood a few days before his horse was due to run on the St. Leger, 200 miles away in Doncaster. In those days, the only way between track and track was for horse and groom to walk across country. When the bookies learned that Ellis could not reach Doncaster in time, they lengthened the odds. To their amazement, Bentinck immediately wagered a fortune on his horse to win. The bookies were dumbfounded when Ellis appeared and won handily. Bentinck, in great secrecy, had constructed the first horse van, which, drawn at a brisk canter, covered 80 miles a day and delivered a fresh rested Ellis well in time.
It is simply an extension of this technology that has made horse racing an international industry. There are 500,000 thoroughbreds in the world today. 30% of their genes derive from the 3 original Arab stallions, and 80% can be traced to 30 known animals 20 generations back.